Day 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. I'm going to switch gears in step 6 and talk about the principle behind the step, which is willingness. It was easy to be willing in the beginning because I was so broken and so desperate that I would have done anything to get off the dope. When I got to treatment, whatever they asked of me, I did it. And I just poured everything outside of me. And I was so afraid of bringing anything back home with me that would have kept me living through the torture of addiction. I didn't ever want to have to live through it again. So I was extremely willing. It's kind of surprising how fast that willingness went away, though. In treatment, I met this lady named Miss Polly. And Miss Polly, she looked a lot like my grandmother. My grandmother had been gone for a few years, but I was still angry that she was gone. And I was angry for her leaving me. And I never really said goodbye to her, you know. But Miss Polly looked like a shorter version of her and just kind of reminded me of her a lot. And she helped me to have some closure with my grandmother, because when I wrote these letters to my grandmother in treatment and Miss Polly helped me to burn them, it just gave me some closure. It was like seeing her again and being able to say goodbye. And it was truly important to me. Miss Polly did way more than that, though, for me and countless others. Miss Polly's one of the people who killed somebody drinking and driving. And she did it so long ago that back then they didn't put you in jail for vehicular manslaughter when it was by alcohol or addiction. They sentenced her to 10 years in an AA meetings. And Miss Polly died in an AA meeting, in fact. I have no idea the thousands of people that she affected in her 30 years of working in recovery and dealing with the fact that she took a life. But I know what an impact she had on my life. It was time for me to come home. I'd been sober for about 7 months, and you know, Miss Polly said, "I want you to come back and volunteer on Sundays to the treatment center." And you know, I refused. I begrudged it a little bit, and I argued with her, and I said, "Miss Polly, I don't want to drive an hour and a half every Sunday back and forth to come down here and volunteer at the treatment center." And she looked at me and she said, "Scotty, how far did you go to get high?" So I recited a story to Miss Polly about a couple of years prior. My partner, we went down to her family's house way down in Alabama, and we were about 4.5 hours from home. She had a surgery. Now, it wasn't like a surgery where she lost an appendix or anything like that. It was an elective surgery. So I used the fact that it was an elective surgery to make it okay for me to abandon her. We spent a couple of days getting her prepped for surgery, and I had plenty of dope. But the morning it was time for her to go into the hospital, I ran out of dope. I stayed long enough, just white-knuckling through it. I mean, I was craving so bad. I stayed long enough to get her through the surgery, took her to her mom's, put her in the bed, and I can't even tell you the excuse that I made, but I made an excuse to leave, and I abandoned her there. I left her with nobody to take care of her. Her mom was at work, and I got in my car and I drove as fast as I could. And I made a 4.5 hour drive in 3 hours and 10 minutes just to get to the dope man's house. So Miss Polly looked at me and said, "I'll see you on Sunday." I didn't have much choice after that. There was nothing I could do. But that was a lesson for me in willingness. How far will I go to stay sober? How far will I go to find happiness? How far will I go to have some peace of mind? And at that, you know, in the beginning, when you're broken, it's easy to say you'll go to the ends of the earth. But, you know, as you get more sober and the body heals, the liar returns. And then I find all kinds of reasons why I can't do this or I can't do that. I had to realize that sobriety was not just a fad. Sobriety was not going to come to me in 7 months. I was not going to become miraculously a better person in 7 months. This is a change in the way I live my life. And every day I have to change something a little bit more. And I cannot get off the path. I am in danger any time of failing. I'm in danger any time of using. I have to have insurances against that, and the only way I get insurance is walking the walk of this program and working these steps every day of my life, and my life is changed as a result of it. And that only came from being willing to change. Change does not come easy for me. I had to get willing. I am willing now to do something for my sobriety every day. If you feel that you're willing, you have any willingness, whether you were beaten into it, whether you just had an epiphany, doesn't matter how you got there. If you've got the willingness to get clean today, then we can help you do that. Tune in tomorrow for step 7.